Okay. You know that there are good aspects to a chapter is when you're getting ready to do it, and then you rant a little bit before the chapter of an aspect of the chapter in a positive light. I've expressed I like Riku. Like Iori's cool. I like his character. I like his powers. So far, I think him and Riku's dynamic is really good, where she's like just this very pure, young girl who wants to help people and do good things, and Iori's kind of selfish, but at the same time he's kind of also like he's willing to help people and do good things, but you can tell like at the same time he doesn't want to get involved in a lot of stuff and he's lazy, but at the end of the day he has that similar kind of vibe that someone like Ichigo has. And it's funny because Phantom Seer is in that kind of vibe series, the same kind of like tone as you'd have like Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, Jujutsu Kaisen, where the main character just has at least an aspect to him that's like there's something weird about him, but at the end of the day they're just good people. Like nobody's gonna say that Ichigo, Yusuke, or Yuji or any of them are bad people. There are parts where you can kind of like question some of the things they do in terms of like as individuals, not like bad, but it's just like stuff where you're just like, man, why did you do that? Like it would, when you're looking at more of like their delinquent side, or in Yuji's case just kind of like his very, I guess his is different because he's in no way the same level of having a crutch of like negativity like Yusuke, and like Yusuke is way more of a delinquent. Ichigo was still a delinquent, and Iori is a bit of a lazy jerk sometimes, but at the end of the day all of them are just they're willing to help if like the opportunities in front that they're not gonna put something away. Like if someone is in front of them needing help, they're gonna help them. They're not gonna put down or pass anybody in need of their assistance, essentially. But the thing about Riku I'd really like, because this chapter, I'm just going to look at the chapter again, because I've mentioned in other videos, whenever I review them, I have one of the chapters open just in case so I don't forget anything, and kind of scrolling through it as I go might remind me of something or help me look for a word that I might have forgotten, like a name or like a phrase or an attack or something, just to kind of like build stuff up, because most of this chapter was like action, and it was just showing the Komachi, I think that's how her name is pronounced, Komachi Phantom just attacking Iori, and then Riku showing up to help. Well, she was already there, but her stepping in really to help. And like I said, it was more of an action chapter, and then just showing how this bad guy is like a complete piece of shit. Like there's like recordings of how Iori really apparently saved Komaki at one point, like Komachi, like and so he helped her, and she grew, like she actually has like a thing for him. And this doctor dude like recorded stuff she said, like personal things about like her her feelings and opinions on Iori, and then was like using that against her. And it's a little bit of a darker area. It makes me hope though that Komaki still has a chance to be saved, and on top of her having a chance to be saved, there's also the opportunity for her to kind of stay in the main cast. I liked her character so far. We didn't get a ton of her, but I liked her design, and I liked her kind of like that weird phantom hybrid style where she's got the ears and the mask, and she had like the cool bladed tail. I like that. I thought that was just a really cool early series thing for her, because like none of them are close combat really orientated. Like the closest is Iori, but like he's using his shadows mostly from range, and he's got like a shadow sword and stuff. But if Komaki was like their person, like up close and personal, trying to attack their opponents, I thought that would have been really cool, just because it would give them a mix of abilities and like ways to attack that I think would work really well together. But Riku in this chapter, this was a good example of why I really like Riku. I think she has a lot of potential. I compared her to a couple other female main characters, and what I mean, the closest one I think is Izumo from Undead Unluck, because it is also very early, because both of them have powers that aren't very combat orientated, and they're around people that are way more experienced in combat. It's kind of like Orihime in Bleach. Like a character doesn't have to be they don't have to be some amazing, they've done all this ways to keep fighting. Someone like Lucy Heartfeely, where it's like her base magic was not a fighter. She was more of like she was a summoner. You stand in the back, do your summons, try not to get hurt, be more of like a ranged caster. Be delicate. that's fine if a character decides to do that, but she's like one of those ones that it's like, no, I'm not doing that, and because of her own decisions to fight alongside her spirit, she actually became, has a high level of durability and fighting capability on her own. Or if you have somebody like and another character I think is a good example, someone like Orihime, whereas a bad example is someone kind of like Ochako. Because with Orihime, like, I get that, like, she's pretty much just a healer in sport, but the reason is that is Tsubaki, like, if you know how her power works, she has to, like, it's more about her conviction. Like, she has to, like, with her, I can't remember the exact names, but her what is healing, but it's really her rejecting the event. So she's rejecting the events of, like, the damage on people. She's undoing the damage on them to essentially heal them, or like rejecting the event with Grimja's arm and just straight bringing an arm back. Like, her power is actually a lot better than just healing. Like, anybody obviously that knows Bleach is aware of that. But the thing about her power is, like, she has this attack aspect of her abilities, but because of Orihime's nature, like the way her personality is, she can't really weaponize that. Like, she can't get the attack aspect of Tsubaki to the extent of, like, the damage that she could heal, because it's not in her personality. Like, she's not an aggressive person. She's not gonna have that want to destroy her opponent. Like, the closest, like, low level hollows, like just like outright bad hollows and stuff. But it made sense again in her personality. So she's like, oh well, if I can't use this for offense, I'm gonna use this to upgrade my defense. And later she gets a better version, I think it was of her shield, I can't remember if it was a healing or a shield, using Tsubaki instead, kind of redirecting his abilities into her support abilities. I like that about her. I've always liked that, because it's like she's aware that she can't do a lot in the scenarios, just because, like, again, an experience gap and like the way her powers work. But she's like, but I'm not just gonna kind of like be like, well, I can't do anything because, like, I can't fight. She's like, no, I'm a really good support. I have a great level of like utility in just like being able to heal, defend, just watch the back of my allies. She capitalized on that, and I've always really liked that about Orihime, because I know the trope that, there's the chicks are always healers in sport, but if they're good at it and they show dedication, that's all I really care about. Like, you could have a character, someone like Black Clover has Mimosa. She's primarily a healer. She's not really a fighter. The only fighting spell she has is like her sunflower that helps defend her, like usually when she's healing, but she only developed that later when it was pointed out she only has healing stuff. But it's like, if you remember her backstory, she's like a prodigy at healing. She's really good at healing, so she put like a lot of effort into that. And it's like, yeah, you find your thing, or you find the best thing you bring to the team, and you capitalize that. And it's not like you can't branch out. Like Mimosa, again, she got an offensive spell. It's not like you can't be like, well, I'm a healer, I can only heal, that's the only thing I'm allowed to do. It's like, no, but if that's the best thing you can do, you should make sure you do that to the best of your abilities, but still, do whatever you can for your character to branch out from her. Like, Orihime couldn't really do offensive stuff, so she's like, because both from her powers and her personality, she didn't like to hurt people. So it's like, okay, she's gonna be doing that. Like Riku herself, like, we know how her power works, but she's still very new to all this. Like, she's still very new to like the phantoms and whatnot, but she's got her disintegration barrier. And I've mentioned, I like that she's putting in the effort to get better. She's putting in the effort to move forward and provide aid to the team and to help Iori. Because, like, right now she only has really those barriers and her beckoning hand ability to kind of like draw in phantoms, which is only useful in some scenarios at the moment. But she herself isn't, like, she can't really compete with Iori, even like when Iori's in a standard kind of state of battle. Like, she can only provide aid to him. But at the same time, that's still like, she's doing everything she can, and she just recently got these powers, so it all makes sense. So I'll always reiterate that, because I know some people don't like it when they like the females are healers or they're more support based. Like I said, as long as they're doing what they can and they're showing their conviction, that's all I care about. Because again, look at something like this, or look at something like Undead Unluck, where the female lead, they aren't fighters, at least as of yet. And there's also the aspect of they aren't, and you have to look at it from the standpoint of the series and their powers, but you also look at the standpoint of like how long they've had their powers versus the people around them and their experience. But regardless of that, they're doing their best. Like, the way I think about it like this: if you got powers, like if you got abilities and some superpower group, whatever it is, said, hey, do you want to join us? And you joined, and you have all these people who are way better than you. You got like 2 techniques. You got like 2 attacks right now. And these guys each got like 30. They each had like 10 boss fights. They each had like 80 normal fights. Like, they have a roster. And you're just like, I have my chapter 1 villain and then like a scuffle with my rival. That's all I got, kind of thing. And then it's like, what is your contribution to like the team? Are you a character that would just show up and kind of like, are you, as much as I like Seki, you know, for the Black Clover fans, as much as I like Seki, are you somebody who's like Asta, where it's like, I can only do so much when I'm going to do everything I can? Or are you like Seki, where you're just like, I'm going to show up and try not to die? Like, do you want to be the guy that actually puts in the effort to these guys, or do you want to be the guy that just kind of like slacks off and is barely a member of the team only because you have these powers and stuff? Because again, I pick on Ochako and her inability to do stuff, but I'd be perfectly fine if like there's a day that where she becomes extremely useful, very prominent, and I lose the ability to talk trash about her. Because I'd be more than happy to not talk trash about her. I'd be very happy if she became like a very useful and relevant character, but she's not. So until that day happens, I'm going to be very annoyed with her. But again, if I got to vote, it'd be make her useful. I'd rather the people that like her be happy rather than the people that dislike her. Because like I said, I don't like it when characters are useless and kind of in the background. It's not like I have a problem with Ochako individually. It's more of like I don't really like how she's handled or how she exists in the story. Because she's just kind of there a lot of the time and just kind of used for like outside of just being used as a romance character for Deku. It's just like what else is there? And that's what Iori, see, characters like Iori are like not following. They're just like, even though we don't have a lot we can do, we're gonna do everything we can do. Again, like, I like that about their characters. But anyway, other than that though, comment below, thumbs up the video, but friend the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. Further than that, I appreciate everybody's already subscribed, and thank you all for listening. Bye.